Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Naina Priya M from Sri Venkateshwara College of Engineering from the Department of Artificial Intelligence. Today's subject is mathematics. Topic: Sampling theory. Introduction to sampling theory. In this subunit, the need for taking a sample so as to make generalizations about the population from which the sample is drawn and the advantages and disadvantages of sampling over senses will be presented. The main purpose is to introduce some techniques of sampling which are broadly classified into non-random sampling and random sampling. Basic concepts of a sample survey. Population is the totality of all subjects possessing certain common characteristics that are being studied. It is the collection of all the units under investigation, which consists of a specified type of person or objects over a given space and time. Population should be defined on the basis of the objective of the study by the investigator. An important step towards sample survey involves carefully defining the population from which the sample will be taken. If, for example, a researcher is interested in knowing the average weight of the Ethiopian male, then the population is the weights of all Ethiopian men, not all Ethiopian men. In other words, the population is the actual numbers representing the weight of an Ethiopian male. Now, suppose that this same researcher is also interested in the average height of an Ethiopian male. In this case, the researcher must consider two population even though he or she will be taking measurements from the same men. The population of all weights of Ethiopian men and the population of all heights of the Ethiopian men. Reasons for sampling. Some specific situations of samplings include when time, money, and other resources are limited, when census survey is not possible, when the scope of investigation is very wide and the population is not known. If the population is too large, example, trees in a jungle, or hypothetical, like tossing a coin, we are left with no alternative but to resort to sampling. If testing is disruptive, breaking strength of chalk, like of an electric tube or bulb, complete enumeration is impracticable. Advantages and limitations of the sampling method. Advantages of sampling. Reduced cost. If data are secured from only a small fraction of the aggregate, the expenditures are smaller than if a complete census is attempted. Second one, great speed. The data can be collected and summarized more quickly with a sample than with the complete count. This is vital consideration when the information is urgently needed. Greater scope. In certain types of inquiry, highly trained personnel or specialized equipments limited in availability must be used to obtain the data. A complete census is impracticable. The choice lies between obtaining the information by sampling or not at all. Since sample survey saves in time and money, it is possible to have a thorough and intensive inquiry because more detailed information can be obtained from a small group of respondents. Greater accuracy. Because personnel or higher quality can be employed and given intensive training, and because more careful supervision of the fieldwork and the processing of results become feasible when the volume of work is reduced, a sample may produce more accurate results than the kind of complete enumeration that can be taken. Limitations of sampling. Despite all the advantages, sample surveys are not always preferred to census surveys. Some of the disadvantages are if proper care is not taken in the planning and execution of the sample survey, the results obtained might be inaccurate and misleading. Sampling theory requires the service of trained and qualified personnel and sophisticated equipments for its planning and execution. If the information is required about each and every unit in the population, then sampling could not be practiced. Techniques of sampling. The techniques of collecting a sample is of fundamental importance in sampling theory, and usually it depends upon the nature of the investigation. The commonly used sampling methods may be broadly classified under two headings: non-probability, which is non-random sampling; probability, or random sampling. Probability sampling methods. These are methods of selecting samples according to certain laws of probability, in which each of the unit has some definite, known or non-zero probability of being included in the sample. The probability or random sampling includes the following techniques: simple random sampling, stratified random sampling. The word random does not mean haphazard. It rather means that the process of selection is such that only chance determines which item shall be included in the sample. Simple random sampling, also known as SRS. This is the simplest and most commonly used method of random sampling, where the sample is drawn unit by unit with equal probability of selection for each unit at each draw. Therefore, simple random sampling is a method of selecting n distinct possible samples. The chances of each one of them is denoted by NCN, units of out of a finite population of size, n by given equal probability to all units, or a sampling procedure in which all possible combination of n units that may be performed from the finite population of sin n units have the same probability of selection. That is, since there are 1 divided by ncn. Procedures of selecting a simple random sample. To ensure randomness of a selection in SRS, we can use either the lottery method, table of random numbers, or scientific calculators. Lottery method. This is the simplest method of selecting a simple random sample. Under this method, each sampling unit is numbered 1 to n, and slips of identical paper in size, shape, and color are prepared for all, folded and mixed in a container. A successive blindfold selection is then made until the required sample size is obtained. Though each one of the most reliable methods, it becomes cumbersome when n is large. Table of random numbers. This is an alternative method of selecting a simple random sample. It is constructed from the digits 0, 1, 2 until 9. There are several tables available in standard books of statistics. To use table of random numbers to generate random numbers, we start anywhere in the table and read suitable digits horizontally, vertically, diagonally, or in any methodological way until the required sample size is selected. These random numbers can also be generated using different computer applications. The third method, which is scientific calculators. Scientific pocket calculators can also be used to generate random numbers so far as n does not exceed 3 digits. The second method, stratified random sampling. In stratified random sampling, the population of n units is subdivided into k subpopulations called strata, so that the units in each stratum are of homogeneous as possible and the mean of the different strata are as different as possible. These subpopulations should be not overlapping so that they comprise the whole population such that n1 plus n2 till nk is equal to n, where n1 represents the units in the ith strata. Then a sample is drawn from each stratum independently, the same sample size within the ith stratum being Ni into I is equal to 1 to till k such that N1 plus N2 plus Nk is equal to N. Procedure of taking samples in this way is called stratified sampling. If the sample is taken randomly from each stratum, the procedure is known as stratified random sampling. Thank you.